Welcome back to our first plot. This is our first test plot that we ever put in for Syntropic Agroforestry, and we are at about 3.5 years now, and we feel like we have definitely gotten beyond the tipping point where things are basically on an exponential curve. The more we put into it, the more we prune, the faster it grows. We've had good growth on this in seasons before, especially in the rainy season, but now we feel like we're really getting some amazing continual growth. As you can see behind me, it's really full, and this is only 2 months after we did a drastic prune on here. So things, I mean, we have had 30 inches of rain too, which certainly helps in these circumstances. But even with that said, it's because of the management that we've done in this system, which isn't perfect. We'll get to that later, but we're very happy with where this is going, because let me show you where we started. We started in a field that was this soil here. This is right next to our system. And as you can see, this is after 30 inches of rain. Look how hard that is. Can't even get a stick to go into it, let alone your finger. So we have made drastic improvements through the system, which I'll show you in just a bit. Now, let me turn this around. If you've seen some of these videos before, you probably know that we have 20-some species of plant in the system. That ranges from fruit, wood, biomass producers, coffee, and then other plants that we have in our interrows. We've done vegetables and grains and that, and now we've moved on to some other things. But let me show you how things are going. We're getting our first production of citrus, Eureka Lemon, here, looking decent. Not our healthiest tree. It's right in the end of the row, so it's actually gotten not as much help as what it should have gotten. But our biomass producers are going absolutely nuts here. We've got this beautiful looking mulberry. These are Senna, siamea. We have Moringa. Look at that huge growth on there. Tucked in here, we've got a tree of the future. That's a pod mahogany tree. We have our African mahogany. So I'm gonna get you right into the sun here. It's growing pretty well. Some bananas still left in the system. Let's see, more Senna. Here we've got some beautiful citrus again, another Eureka Lemon tucked in there. If we can get in here somewhere, let's see. Yep, we've got our inline coffee, which look, beautiful, beautiful big cherries on there. Finally, after 3 years of it suffering with a lack of shade, it is living well right now. Let's see, what else do we have in here? More coffee, more biomass producers, more citrus. Let's see, got, yeah, we're even getting some production on our mulberries. We've got one here. Oh, yeah, looking good, tasting good. I just ate one a little while ago. So interrows, as you can see, one of the reasons why this has been a success is that we have managed it fairly well, including adding a lot of external biomass, especially in the initial phase, to get past the lack of nutrients, the lack of organic material in the soil. So we just did a big prune on an African mahogany. We've been able to lay down a lot of leaves. In the interrow, as you can see, we have cassava interplanted with pineapple, which has not been as successful as what we had hoped, but I'll get into that a little later. We are getting some production on there. We have other ones in here that haven't taken as well. Here we have another tree row. We have Gliricidia Sepium in here, really good biomass producer, nitrogen fixer. More citrus. We have, here we go. We've got mulberry growing on here. These are super, super sweet. That's good. More pod mahogany, more. Here we have jackfruit. It's gonna be a while before we eat anything off that jackfruit, but it's nice to have those established. More coffee, more citrus. See if we can sneak through here. An area that doesn't have so many thorns from the citrus. There we go. Okay, this is probably one of the things that I am most excited about at the moment in these systems, in this system, is that our coffee has finally come right. So it's been 3 years. It really suffered in the initial phase, lack of shade, as you can believe. But now, with the shade in here, with all the biomass we put down, we're keeping the cassava in here. Look how thick that cassava is. We just keep pruning it back and using it to give shade. And look now at this first year production. Beautiful, big cherries on there. We're looking forward to having a nice cup of syntropically grown coffee here very well in the next 6 months or so. Again, we've got mangoes on this row. We have Litchi. We had our first production of Litchi this year, and we have our first production of mango. There we go. I don't know if you can see those or not, right there. We've had a few off there already. They are really good. The Litchis were excellent. There weren't many, but what were there were super sweet, very flavorful, even compared to the tree that's just out there. So that gives us a lot of hope for the future. Now, have we been completely successful? Absolutely not. There are some issues in the system that we have learned from. Number one is that we planted eucalyptus in here as an emergent, and we lost every single one. I think we had 20, 22, 23, something like that. They're all gone. That is because we did not have enough organic material in the soil to be able to support the eucalyptus. And what happened is the termites came and decimated them all. So we lost our last one just a few months ago, but we're not going to cry about that, because the reality is, if you can see behind me, we have the native emergence there, African mahoganies, that are taking up that level now in the system. We've pruned back some other things to get their heads on top, and they'll be, I think, really growing quickly from here on out. As I mentioned, the pineapples have not been completely successful. We've struggled a bit establishing them. We struggled a bit in that, but also now, shade-grown pineapple, just trying to figure out when we need to do a big prune in order to give enough light for them to set flowers. And we got the timing wrong this year, so we need to do it a little bit earlier next year. Again, it's a learning process. We've never done this before, but we have hope, because the pineapples that have come off of there have been really, really excellent. All right, now, you remember the soil that I tried to stick my finger into at the beginning of this video? Let's try it here in one of the rows. So we have just been dropping biomass on here like crazy over the past 3 years, and we can see that it is paying off hugely compared to what I tried to stick my hand in out there. Look at this. That is beautiful, beautiful soil, well aggregated, lot of organic material. And that is why this system is doing as well as it is. And that is the power of these agroforestry systems. That's what gives us hope for the future. That is what gives us hope that these types of systems could really, really have an amazing positive impact, not just on health and well-being, nutrition, but also on the ecosystem in this area where there has been massive deforestation over the past 25, 30 years. So that's where we're at. We are really happy with this progress, excited about what it means for the future.